What's going on, everyone? How are we doing? How's it going? What's the word? We're live on YouTube. We're live on Twitch. Doing the damn thing. It's Wednesday morning. Is it Wednesday? Holy crap. It is. Thank God. Wednesday morning. Lots of cool stuff. What's up, Madhouse? Good to see you, brother. The thing that we have going on this week, I don't know. Well, first, this is kind of a test because, you know, life is constantly changing and we're upgrading and we're going side to side and lots of motion and all that. So I'm like, everything's working off of Wi-Fi right now in my house, and so I'm seeing how that rolled. And there was stuff happening with Asmongold that I felt I wanted to just sort of touch on and not get too technical about it, but you know, it's one of those things. This whole situation with Asmongold has me just continually thinking about a lot of the problems in our world and how people approach them, especially in online spaces. You know, which is everyone's really quick to react, right? And that seems to be the game. You're quick to react, put things out there, or you, even if you're wrong, even if you're completely wrong, it doesn't matter because that pulls people in. You could put a retraction out, but the point is to get out there and get the money, right? Get your bag. I don't really fully believe in that. I don't think that's right. It looks like we're having some drop framed issues. In chat, you can confirm. So, well, I'll play this clip for you real quick. Let's look at the clip in question. And I'm going to move this. So this is from someone else. Someone else is playing the clip here of Asmongold talking about the Israel-Palestine conflict, and this is basically what led to him getting banned, his comment.
A systematic killing of a group of people. They have genocide built into Sharia law right now. So no, I'm not going to cry a river when people who have genocide that's baked into their laws are getting genocided. I don't give a fuck. They're terrible people. It's not even a question.
So this is what I was gathering from his comments here was he's discussing Hamas, right? Like I don't know, and this is the thing. I'm approaching this as someone who has like tangential knowledge of all this stuff. Most people in the world who are out there, I would say a lot of people who are approaching this whole thing probably have limited knowledge on history and what's going on over there, and that's fine. That's fine. But like, is there genocide baked into their laws? I don't know. I know Sharia law is pretty backwards. And I know it's not very welcoming to different groups, as it were.
It's crazy that people don't see it that way. They'd be doing the same thing. And how much did they kill? as many as they can. They're not able to kill as many people as Israel because they don't have as many bombs and as many weapons. But if they did, they'd be doing the same thing. That's it. Just takes enough. That's right. These people are not your allies. They are not the same as us. They come.
This is where he loses people, and this is where people start to say Asmongold is he's a racist. He's a bigot. But there is some truth to what he's saying, you know. But again, if you can approach this, the problem is you need to approach this with some sensibility, right? Whether it's Asmongold, whether it's people commenting on it, you need to approach this in a way that's like with some practicality, because he's not wrong. It's not an accepting, diverse culture. It's not what it is. And you know, it's become a meme at this point that, you know, all the people standing up for like Hamas and everything, and these Middle Eastern countries that do have Sharia law, about how they wouldn't last a day in these cultures. They'd just be, you know, thrown off a building or whatever. You know, there'd be horrible, horrible acts committed against them. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't fight for human rights. You know, again, you can hold two thoughts in your head. But again, Zach isn't wrong, or Asmongold isn't wrong here. It's important to his bottom line that he is like, as you know, that this is as clip worthy as possible. So I think he should be canceled over this? No, because it's his opinion on it. It's his opinion on it. Asmongold isn't a journalist. He isn't any form of like real information. He's an entertainer, and he's allowed to have opinions on things. But you know, people will come back and say, "Well, he's on Twitch's platform. He's got to follow their rules." Sure. Again, doesn't necessarily make him a bigot that he has these opinions. So let's finish watching what he has to say.
From an inferior culture that is horrible. It kills people for their identity, and it is directly antithetical to everything Western values stand for.
You know, again, and this is where I think we're getting all this stuff is clipped out of context, right? Because all anyone shares is that Asmongold says that, you know, people from the Middle East or people from Palestine or Hamas, they come from an inferior culture, period, end. They don't put in the fact that he said, you know, they unalive people for their identity. It's directly antithetical to like almost all Western values. Like, and he's not necessarily wrong here. Like he's gonna like, it's pertinent for the other side, for people who don't like Asmongold because he has a giant audience and because he has cockroaches in his bedroom. It's important to them to clip him out of context to make him look bad, to cancel him.
And it is an inferior culture in all ways. It is that simple. No.
You know, again, it's an inferior culture in all ways. You know, again, that's an opinion that he holds, and whether or not it's good or bad, you know, again, could you say that with any sort of certainty? No, but a lot of it seems to be like, it's not even like, maybe culture is the wrong word, you know, like it's likely the wrong word to use here. But again, his feet are held to the fire much closer than everyone else because he has an audience.
Oh, I don't feel bad for them. I don't feel sorry for them. I don't care. I don't support them.
So I think one of the major problems is we're not getting, he needs to give a little more context as to who he's talking about. Because really the main issue in the Middle East is Hamas right now, right? And then people are very critical of Israel because of their, you know, retaliation against them. And again, I'm not a pro on any of this, but you know, it wouldn't be right to apply it to everyone. What's up, Krabby? What's up, Zombie? Yeah, it wouldn't be right to apply this to everybody. What's going on, Riken? But the main problem here is that you reach a point in your online career and your content creation career where you can no longer speak freely. You can no longer really be yourself, and you can't slip up. There's no way that you could slip up or correct the record. You know, even he was like, you know, I went overboard. I probably said too much, you know, which is totally fair. Can't even apologize in the world anymore because, oh, I mean, just he's back. Oh, fuck, this guy gets what he deserves. They get bookmarked. There's lots of tweets about this right now, but I'll bring one or two up just so we can. Oh, this fucking guy. Don't let Dirty Roach to stick to gaming. You know, maybe the guy's made a living on commenting on stuff, but and here, I guess the problem is like I said, you reach a certain point when you're streaming in your audience and you can't like speak on anything because what comes back is that words are violence, right? And I don't think it's fair that, you know, we've been told that someone's words can be violence and that words can actually harm another individual, which I don't agree with. And I think there are ways that people can speak that might incite some sort of violence, right? A direct call to violence is not permitted, is not allowed. But when you're speaking on something, again, he's speaking as a total normie. He's speaking as like someone who doesn't have all the information, which most people do. Most people are not an expert on the conflict in the Middle East. They're not an expert on the Israel-Palestine conflict and as far back as it goes. And that's the thing. Everyone's speaking from a sort of ignorant position, but because Asmongold has a platform, he's not allowed to talk about that, which is part of the problem. It's part of the problem. What's up, Mike? Good to see you, brother. His opinion was just poorly thought out and said. The internet just like to see the downfall of successful people. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You know, that's one of the things I'm saying. And like, so this dude here, Khalif Positivity Peddler Adams. This guy's always on my feed, and he's always trying to knock people down, man. And I've tried to engage with this guy, like just like in a friendly manner, being like, hey, your opposition to me, like I'd love to talk to you about some stuff. Of course, no, to no avail, right? But let's look at his thoughts. Last thoughts about the Asmongold racism from yesterday. Twitch should permanently ban all of his accounts. OTK should remove him. Sponsors should drop him. And gaming companies and PR shouldn't work with him. No. Twitch is allowed to ban who they want, but he was on the Zackrawr account, so he violated their TOS on that account, so that one goes. That's fine. If you break TOS, okay. I don't think that he, you know, again, his opinions, you know, shouldn't be what's it called? Policed so hard, I don't think. Asmon did nothing wrong. People are butthurt by his opinions. I think again, I agree with Riken Knight here. I think they could have been better formulated. You know, I think, you know, say what you want about how he lives. You know, all I hear is like people being like, oh, you know, he's got cockroaches everywhere. He shouldn't say shit. Like, yeah, maybe. But most people are in a very similar position. No. But Khalif goes on to say his apology was flippant. His backtracking on his stances during the stream showed a fundamental lack of understanding of real issues that he espouses opinions on ignorantly to an audience that is easily manipulated by this kind of hate speech. I have a problem with this here because this puts every bit of responsibility on a creator, which I am 100% against. 100% against. Creators are not responsible for what audiences do. If I'm sitting in a chair in my room and giving you my opinions on a video game, or how I think a video game developer is not very ethical, or even the Israel-Palestine conflict, and you go and do something about that after you hear me say something, I am not linked to that in any way, shape, or form, other than you may have heard me talk about the subject matter. I didn't tell you to go do something. I would never tell you to go do something. He didn't tell anyone to go do anything. But if for some reason you commit some horrific act after someone says something, that's on you because you're an adult and you have agency. And taking that agency away from people is one of the biggest problems that we're seeing right now. You're putting all this responsibility on a creator because he has an audience. And they do the same thing with Trump. This is a big like Trumpian thing that came about. We continue to kick the can and give slaps on the wrist to people who absolutely don't care enough about their own destructive behaviors, or how their own destructive behaviors can and will affect others. It isn't sustainable and continues to foster an environment that will give platforms to people who aren't built for the conversations they're having. I can partially agree with what he's saying here. I think a lot of people engage in conversations they're not equipped to have, but that doesn't mean they shouldn't have them. Conversations have been going on between people who aren't equipped to have them for years, but we're seeing a time now where all of these conversations can be seen everywhere, all the time, across the world. People are afraid to take responsibility. Like, oh, this guy said something. Someone gave me an idea. Like, you don't have to act out every single thing you hear. As Jordan Peterson said, clean your room or else face the wrath of the lobsters. Yeah. Remember when you could talk about stuff and not get it canceled? Yeah, Pepperidge Farms doesn't either. Yeah, this creator is one of those that he talks a lot about racism and bigotry, and how, you know, people of color are not, you know, they're oftentimes looked down upon in the Twitch space or whatever. He's a very, you know, I think this positivity peddler is a joke, because I think he realizes he's not that. But there, I mean, it's a huge problem I'm seeing. People should, I mean, especially, I mean, all the guy does is sit at home all day and like react and comment and have opinions on things online. It's quite literally his job. Quite literally his job. I hate this idea that people have no ability to think for themselves, and they want some overlord to think for you. And yeah, and that's essentially what, you know, this dude has really said, is we need companies to tell us what is right and wrong to say. We can't have these incels in their home thinking they can tell us whatever they want. Again, you should question every single thing that I say. You shouldn't just take what I say and run with it. And this is how people have survived or not over the millennia. You can follow some strong leader who like has proven results and who shows that they can lead and help others, or you cannot. You can follow some other person, and like this comes down to a survival of the fittest thing. You can follow the right people and survive, or you can follow dumb people and lose. There are many different paths to take here, but I'll tell you that thinking for yourself and questioning what you hear is perfectly normal and fine. let's apply his logic. How much of the outside world outside did he just call inferior? If we're talking about we're talking about the Middle East, I mean, again, is he talking about the entire Middle East? I'm not saying that what he said was right. I'm not saying that what he said was right. But my criticism here is that it's essentially a half truth in some ways. There are aspects of culture in the Middle East that are, like he said, that are antithetical to our Western values. Does it make them like less human? No, they're humans, and every human deserves a chance and rights. But he's not wrong in the fact that a lot of the people that are standing up for, let's use Hamas, for example, wouldn't make it a day within that culture. They are, those cultures are actively against them every step of the way. I'm not saying that he's right in what he said. I like almost always want to give people the benefit of the doubt and the chance to change. I do. I think he had a poor choice of words in what he said. Absolutely. But, again, it's the same thing. If I sat here and said the same thing, nothing would happen to me. If I sat here and said the same thing that he did, some of you might unsubscribe and that's it. But the only reason that his feet will be held to the fire is because he has an audience. And everybody is talking about it because they don't generally like what he has to say. Do I like what Hassan has to say? Nope. Most of the time I think he's most of the time no. But he's allowed to say it. I don't think he should be banned. But here's the other thing is I think it was from Destiny. I really want to try and find the clip. Oh, is this what he was saying?
Wonderful stuff. By the way, just want to point out to LSF, to the LSF crowd. Once again, I just saw this. Wonderful stuff. Asmongold and I have a 4-hour conversation. Hassan says the Houthi he talked to is like Anne Frank. First of all, he was not a fucking Houthi. Secondly, yes, he withstood genocide. That is correct. Like, you can't fucking materialize a appropriate dwarfy or whatever the fuck this Destiny Dick Rider account is. But 4 hours of conversation, that's the one thing you got? That's awesome. That is fucking dope, dude. LSF is so insane. And Franks was just like Luffy. Is this the really best that Twitch politics has to offer? These two idiots, embarrassing. The guy was a part of a terrorist organization who beats women for going to school and execute gay men on a weekly basis. And Hassan invited bombos. Yeah, that guy literally got detained by the fucking Houthis, by the way. Check OP's history. I don't need to check it. But again, 4-hour conversation. 4-hour conversation.
Hassan crashes out over LSF posting his Houthi terrorist Anne Frank comparison. Blames BGG and doubles down as Anne Frank being Houthi take. That's the thing, like he'll say some ancient and not get banned over it, but then Asmongold says one thing. Yeah, this is what I saw this morning. Asmongold has been banned on Twitch for 14 days. Genociders should be genocided. Genocidal Zionists, you are modern day Anne Frank. Happy birthday to you. Oh my God. Rules are not applied in this very same way, unfortunately. I don't know. It's not the meta step. It's just sad. You're looking thick. Yeah, dude. Hell. Well, that's that's a big part of the issue that I think a lot of people are upset about is one, the double standard with creators. Hassan toes the line in left-leaning politics the way Twitch wants, and Asmongold doesn't always do that, and that's part of the issue. But again, saying I mean, I think the punishment, I don't think that the punishment is necessarily a bad thing. His ban is likely warranted because of him breaking TOS. Saying genociders need to be genocided is not a good look. It's not well thought out. It's just too much. I think my issue here, and what I'm really trying to get to the core of, is how people react to opinions they don't like. Like you just need to understand that these are normal people. Most of the people you see online they're normies to the max. Very few people on here, like the ultra successful streamers are some of the only people who have the time to really put into researching all this stuff. The normal everyday person, a lot of the people commenting on this and calling us Asmongold or whatever, they're following marching orders from people like that guy Khalif. Khalif is saying all this stuff. This is blah blah blah. This is what you should believe about this person. Don't look into it any farther. Just trust what I'm saying. I will try to never say stuff like that because I don't I'll say something and I'll say go look it up yourself too and prove me wrong if you need to. But these people don't want you to do that. They just want you to take what they're saying, believe it, and then go cancel this person, unfollow them, kick him out. No. What's a perfectly reasonable thing to say is, I hope these companies look more into what their creators are doing. I hope these companies understand the stances of the people that they're sponsoring and making sure that it lines up with their values. That's okay. I hope they drop this. This is this person's livelihood. This is a person's livelihood. You think this guy Khalif, for example, is doing background checks or looking into every single thing that his plumber does or that his car mechanic does? No, I don't give a shit. It's just, yeah. It's crazy, man. There's lots of people, dude. My timeline was just full this past 24 hours of people calling to get him, calling him this, that, and the other thing. Dude, no reason at all. trying to see if I can see any other reactions here, but the world gets too complicated. Yeah, no, it's true. I don't know. How's everyone doing? Oh, is this another?
If you want to consider a genocide as a systematic killing of a group of people, they have genocide built into Sharia law right now.
Oh, we already yeah. Yes, people talking about I want Top Gear USA to come back. It was such a good show. I never got into Top Gear. Oh wow! I wonder if this is true. I would like to look this up and see if it's true. Official penalties in Islam, Sharia law. Believe Islam, death by beheading. Atheism, death by beheading. Drink alcohol once, twice. 40, 80 lashings. Wow. Fornication, 100 lashes, 1 year banishment. Oh, if not married. Rape, if married, death by stoning. Rape, if not married, 100 lashings, 1 year banishment. Homosexuality, death by stoning. Homosexuality method 2, thrown off the highest point in the city. See all these like little gray areas though? That makes me think it's not true. I'd be interested to see if this was like, right. The sources are the Quran, Hadith collections, biography of Muhammad, Islamic history books, Sharia law manuals. Mo equals applies to Muslims only. Huh. They seem pretty peaceful. I don't think most people live their lives like in the modern day, you know. See, Glenn Greenwald kind of puts it in an interesting way. He puts it in an interesting way. The defense of what Israel is doing from the popular streamer Asmongold is right out of Mein Kampf. Palestinians deserve genocide because they're from an inferior culture in all ways. But I think this premise, not as crudely stated, is more common than one might think. Meaning that a lot more people than are letting on, agree with this sentiment. But again, this is totally out of context.
They're not able to kill as many people as Israel because they don't have as many bombs and as many weapons. But if they did, they'd be doing the same thing. That's it. Just takes enough. That's right. These people are not your allies. They are not the same as us. They come from an inferior culture that is horrible. It kills people for their identity, and it is directly antithetical to everything Western values stand for, and it is an inferior culture in all ways.
You know, like, again, it reminds me of the Charlottesville quote where, like, there's a lot taken out of that. I'm not denying it's poorly worded. But again, I think people share the sentiment. I think more people share the sentiment than they're letting on. and they're going after this guy because of how poorly he worded his response. You know, like, not trying to get caught up in this myself, but again, I think it's perfectly reasonable to look at this and talk about it and not just call this guy a fucking Nazi or a bigot or a racist. Like, most people in the modern day are not that. They might hold a view that you disagree with, but it doesn't mean that they're, you know, oh, this guy's going to actively do everything he can to keep like Palestinians away from him and out of, you know, civil society. Like, so I don't know. It's a, you know, it's a hard thing to approach. It's a hard thing to approach, and nobody really wants to have the difficult conversation on it. So you leave it like, so people like Asmongold pick it up, and they say their piece on it. People like Hassan pick it up. Like, these are, like, Hassan is a pretty person, and he says what's on his mind in the same way that Asmongold does. One person is punished, the other person is celebrated. It's a brilliant mind. You know, even Destiny is a raging liberal, and, you know, but he's able to entertain certain ideas that people on the left won't touch. You're not allowed to talk about that. Don't bring that up. Don't. Destiny doesn't give a shit. You can hold whatever opinion you want about Destiny, like him or hate him, but he's not afraid to approach certain things. And whether or not he's right is a completely different matter. But that's why people don't like Destiny, is because he will talk about that, especially people on the left. But no one like effectively communicates these things. And really the larger issue is that the general public doesn't want to sit through conversations like this. They don't want to sit, not Asmongold, but they don't want to sit through long conversations that get into the minutia of, you know, Middle Eastern conflict, or Palestine or Israel or any of that stuff. Oh yeah, Brahma, I know. I'm not celebrating Destiny. All I'm saying is that he's willing to one of the reasons I think the left hates him is that he can oftentimes hold two thoughts in his head and entertain ideas and talk about them, and even maybe side with some, you know, like his advocacy for guns and stuff like that is something that, like, I think totally rubs liberals the wrong way. But yeah, you know, it's just, I don't know, man. There's too much in this world that needs to be discussed at length, and there shouldn't even be a moderator with most of this shit. Just be able to talk to people and not somehow blame another person because, oh, you said a thing and now other people might get hurt. That's not on the creator. Sure, he's got a big audience. Sure, he reaches a lot of people. Good. Doesn't remove responsibility from the individual. Krabby Patty says, is it fair to say he's calling all Muslims inferior? I thought he was referring, well, I guess he's referring to Islam here, but it's ambiguous to me who he's calling inferior. And maybe he does say that at, like, you know, pre this clip, which I haven't seen. Or even if he's discussing the blanket term of Palestinians, like, they're not all Palestinians are Hamas, right? So again, he's he's not the person to discuss this, but shouldn't be lambasted because of his opinions on this. He shouldn't be like, no one should be rallying to cancel the guy because he, you know, he said something a lot of people think, but are too afraid to say. I think people who, you know, this is the hard part, right? This is the hard part, is that like Western culture is a culture that is a culture that is accepting, that wants, like, we are a culture that is a melting pot of cultures. We want other people to come here who don't necessarily share our culture, but we want them to share our values of having a diverse culture, but not just in like that skin color, right? We want people who have different ways of thinking. What's up, Elemental? We want people who are able to accept other cultures and live within their own. Sharia law doesn't seem to allow for any of that. Now, you could argue that some people are stuck underneath of it and want to escape it. What's up, Leonard? Been a while. What's good? Not much, man. Just we're talking the Asmongold cancellation at the moment. Talking about that. I just, you know, I think what we're seeing is a double standard. I don't think people like Asmongold because he lives a life that is dirty. Like people are casting stones in the very same way that Asmongold may have, and calling him like bigot and, you know, whatever, and hateful, but they're doing the exact same thing, like calling him a cockroach, like making judgments on how he lives, being dirty, all that stuff in a very, very similar fashion. It just, again, it's par for the course in 2024, soon to be 2025. Like it's, to me, it's, I'm not even surprised when I see people react this way. You can't even have like a meaningful disagreement on what he said. Do I think he could have phrased it better? Absolutely. Asmongold could have taken a little bit more time to flesh out his thoughts and said something. But the guy's not a political commentator, so he doesn't really need to. You know, like, Asmongold is not a source of geopolitical information. So, like, in some regards, there's no reason for him to, like, flush out these opinions fully. He's a fucking game streamer who comments on TikTok videos all day long. He says this thing, and suddenly he's the Antichrist, and suddenly he's a genocidal maniac, and suddenly he's following Mein Kampf, and suddenly, or he's passing out pamphlets of Mein Kampf, and like he's the most bigoted thing on the planet, banned. The guy's not a political commentator. He doesn't make a living making, you know, as like a source of information on geopolitics. Not even close. Why does everyone care that he, like, did he say something out of turn? Sure. The guy has no pull in geopolitics, but yet we need to cancel him and destroy all his relationships with his sponsors. Like, how childish can you be? some guy has an opinion on the internet and we need to like take him down. You know, it's the age old like social justice warrior fucking bullshit. Like these people can't help themselves. They have nothing better to do than have this crusade against a guy that they don't like. That's what this is about. What this is about is that they're jealous of this man's success. They're jealous that he lives the way he does, or they're not jealous. They're mad that he lives the way he does and they have no control over him. And what little control they can have is to take what he said, make him the worst possible version of himself, and then get all of his whole livelihood to implode. And then just throw it back in. Well, you shouldn't open your mouth. What? Why? Because he doesn't live the life that you want him to live? He doesn't say the words exactly the way you want him to say it? How fucking childish of these people. You know, like this dude fucking Khalif Adams. Like who the fuck does this guy think he is? Should permanently ban his accounts? For what exactly? OTK should remove him? Why? Sponsors should drop him? Why? Gaming companies and PR shouldn't work with him. Why? His apology was flippant. What will be good enough for him? This guy could have gotten on his knees, cried, begging, and they still would have called him a fucking loser. His backtracking on stances during the stream showed a fundamental lack of understanding of real issues. Like, again, purity testing people. Like, oh, you need a full, complete understanding if you're going to speak on anything. Wrong. You can speak on, like, nobody has the full story on nearly anything. And if this guy got called out on something that he wasn't fully knowledgeable about, he would just fight to the end. He would bring up that it was racist. He would bring up that it was like, you know, some bigoted attack on a man of color. Like that's how this whole thing fucking goes, dude. That's how this whole thing goes. There's no escaping it. You either play the game or you're fucking outed. And Asmongold's lucky enough that he did what he did early. He got well known. He was able to get it. It's like Twitch is a fucking weird place now, man. It is overrun with people like this. He is part owner of OTK. He also owns Starforge Computers. He doesn't spend money wastefully. Yeah, and that's the thing is like the guy just got done on a video. He put out a video discussing how he like was planning on unaliving himself right after high school. The guy like poured his heart out like on stream about how his life, like how everything in his life was like falling apart. He didn't brush his teeth. He's got like 3 of his own natural teeth left in his head. Like this guy has been through some shit in his life, you know, in his own head or not. And he's made something of himself. He hasn't flashed it everywhere. You know, he still lives as he did before, but he's got a lot of money in the bank. What he does with that money is none of our business. If the guy wants to live alongside of cockroaches, fucking let him. You can hold the thought in your head that it's gross, right? That's totally fine. You could say that's gross that he's okay with having cockroaches in his house. And then he's got a bunch of dirty laundry and a bunch of fucking empty Coke cups everywhere. You can hold that thought in your head and still be entertained by the guy. And then also, you could also criticize his comments on geopolitical issues that he doesn't fully know about and not call for him to be canceled. People are incapable, absolutely incapable of holding 2 thoughts in their head. It's one of the biggest problems we're seeing. They're incapable of having 2 opinions simultaneously. You know, and I don't know. And in this space, that's not okay. Right? Not okay. I disagree with a lot of Asmon's political stances, especially on taxes. Sure, that's totally fine. You could disagree with someone on their taxes and you can enjoy their time. I'm sure, guess what, guys? There are people in your lives, there are family members in your lives that you probably disagree with on a political level or some other level, but yet you're still able to occupy the same room, break bread with them, and share great stories with them. The same thing could be true with your favorite internet personalities. You don't have to be married to every thought that they have, and if for some reason they betray that thought, you completely abandon them. That is weird, stupid behavior. Suburbs. I can't hold two thoughts in my head, but for entirely different reasons. Isn't that the definition of cognitive dissonance? I can't even hold one thought in my head. Yeah, you totally can watch. You could totally be like watch someone be entertained. I disagree with your mom. They get chronic Twitter user. Probably. Yeah, cognitive dissonance. Let's look up the exact. Now I want to go get in a TikTok debate. That's effectively what it is. That's effectively what it is. Described as a mental disturbance people feel when they realize their cognitions and actions are inconsistent or contradictory. May ultimately result in some change in their cognitions or actions to cause greater alignment between them so as to reduce this dissonance. Relevant items of information include people's actions, feelings, ideas, beliefs, values, and things in the environment. Cognitive dissonance is typically experienced as a psychological stress when people participate in an action that goes against one or most of those things. I got it from Blaine. I think it'd be good for my health. Probably wouldn't be. I feel like we should like at least get into one, like to make it all worth it. I got 2 dope shirts from him too. I'm not wearing them today, but such cool stickers. Yeah, dude, we're just seeing, I think, a real. We're being told by people who shouldn't be telling anyone anything that, or let me start over. This all goes back to words are violence. That's what it stems back to. You convince somebody that words are violence, what like has been happening over the past probably 6 or 7 years. This whole idea of hate speech, right? Hate speech is like violence, and violence, like words are akin to actual physical violence. This is where you get people like this who are unable to hear things that they don't like and not like and continue to operate normally. Other people are so in control of their emotions that they need to stop other people from speaking. It's not a them problem, it's an everyone else problem. Right? It's like that old saying, you can't find the asshole in the room, you're probably the asshole. If there's anything good live. Republicans don't like poor people. You're always the asshole. An attack against one woman is an attack against all women. What does that even mean? I don't know what that means. You guys? I'm seeing if I could find a TikTok debate I can join. I don't know. I don't know if I think I should do it. I don't think I should do it. You know what I haven't had yet? I haven't had coffee yet. So I want to hear some gaming news? Sure. What's the gaming news? I did see before you I did see that Rumble Gaming got their ass handed to them by their community for not supporting games. And then within like 3 hours, they had a gaming on Rumble, Twitter, and a gaming on Rumble, Twitter, and then they were talking about, oh, you know, they started doing all this shit, and they started featuring more people, and it was, I don't know, it's a twofold thing. There's two things, like, are my criticism on Rumble. One, I still want to see their analytics. I want to see more. I want to see better analytics. And two, like, it shouldn't take your community like getting, like, I think every live streaming platform at this point needs to have a space for video games. Like, if you're trying to compete with YouTube, I know YouTube doesn't do crazy numbers when it comes to you know, gaming live streams, but you if you're going to compete with them, like, people are live streaming. Make a space for gaming, and like, put time into it. Make your team. I don't care if it's a small team. I don't care if you have 2 people on that bitch. Put 2 regular people on there, like, updating a database, linking it to a real database, not just adding things in with a picture that you find on the internet. Like, whatever these other companies are using to link to games, like, a new game comes out, it's already in there, and I can say I'm playing this game on Twitch or even Kick. Make it happen. The people that brought you Diablo Immortal, they present Destiny Rising, a mobile version of Destiny. It's not a port, it's a new take on the game formula. Oh boy. Oh boy. I don't watch Rumble for Nick Rekieta. I only watch Rumble for Nick Rekieta. He hasn't streamed there for a while. Yeah, I don't know. Like, again, I can appreciate the free speech platform, but yeah, if you're trying to take down YouTube, you need to, I think gaming needs to be a big aspect of it. There's lots of people on there that want to be there, but they need help. and you need a team to do it. And it's been very like back of mind for Rumble. So hopefully they figure it out. Destiny Rising. Epic sci-fi RPG shooter. It's a free-to-play mobile sci-fi RPG shooter developed by NetEase Games under license from Bungie. God, Bungie's desperate. They are so desperate. It takes place in an alternate timeline of the Destiny universe, offering a fresh narrative that explores the franchise's post-Dark Age era. Oh, so this has nothing to do. This isn't canon, is what I'm hearing. Huh. Meet the Light Bearers, a diverse. Meet the Light Bearers, a diverse roster of characters, each with unique abilities and stories. Unlike the traditional hunters, titans, and warlocks, these heroes are designated specifically for the mobile game. Experience a shared world similar to the Destiny setting where the players can engage in single-player, cooperative, and competitive multiplayer action. Enjoy a variety of game modes, including PvE, PvP. It will be playable in both first and third person. Wow. Bungie's fucking toast, dude. Bungie is toast. They have no idea what their audience wants. Zero. By putting out Destiny Rising, you effectively tell your player base, we haven't listened one little bit, but we're going to do this anyways. And then we're going to fill this full of stuff that you can buy. It's going to be it, dude. What? GG Bungie. I don't even feel, I don't want to see anybody put out of business. These are real motherfuckers who have lives and families, and they deserve jobs because the game always looks good. Like Destiny looks so good. They have great artists, they have great, game designers, animators. Holy shit. Bungie licensed this to NetEase. Bungie is directly responsible for this shit. This is not what players want. You have plenty of issues in Destiny that need to be fixed, and putting any sort of resource into a mobile game, I don't know. I'll just say it, retarded. Fucking Bungie, man. My internet's so bad, dude. My internet's so bad. I don't even know if this is gonna. I don't even know if my interview is gonna work Thursday, and that sucks. All mobile games should be deleted. You're probably right, Krabby. You're probably right. That's fine. Yeah. Well, good. I'm glad they. It still doesn't excuse the fact, like, okay, so they didn't put any they didn't make it. Giving that IP to someone else to fuck over is equally as stupid. The end. Yeah, it'll probably just be a major league suck fest, unfortunately. Ooh, I'm starving. And I haven't even had coffee yet today. No coffee yet. But I think that's gonna do it for this stream, guys. I want to thank you for hanging out and listening to my rant on Asmongold. I have a couple things I want to handle before I head out to my meetings and a couple things to do. But yeah, like I said, thank you guys so much. Tomorrow I have Zealand on Ready Set Shag. We're gonna be talking about her life, her plans, what has made her successful, and I look forward to that conversation. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Hopefully we don't experience buffering like this, because this is awful. I'm just not into mobile games, meta. Not into mobile. It doesn't interest me. But I'll check out the trailer. Anyways, that's gonna do it for me. Make sure you check out myself and Zealand tomorrow, 8:30 p.m. Mountain Time, right here for another edition of Ready Set Shag. Make sure you join my Discord, hang out with us. The link is down below in the description. Join the Discord, have fun, play games, talk politics, show us pictures of your dog, give us some memes. I don't care. Do it all. Love you guys. Thank you so much. And we'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much. Later.
I like to put stuff online.